has a master's degree, and he looks a little like me. Rocky can't, 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 Rocky can't train me. Hey y'all, TJ here with Rocky Camp Animal Training, where you will find success with your training with diligence, patience, and consistency. The big thing that we're going to be talking about today is corrective cues and how to use them effectively. The first thing to keep in mind is that when we're doing corrective cues, we don't want to use the word no as a corrective cue. This is because we use the word no so much in our everyday speech, it is nearly impossible for a dog to isolate that one sound and associate it with anything close to their unwanted behavior. Instead, I suggest using cues like uh-oh, eh-eh, ah-ah, things like that, because it is much closer to your dog's verbal cues rather than our verbal cues. We have to keep in mind that all dogs share at least 98.8% of their DNA with the wild wolf. So we want to go back to that wolf psychology when we're thinking about how to control our wild little beast. So in the wild, dogs have about 90 cues that they use to communicate. 79 of those cues are visual and haptic touch signals. Yes, wrong? Only 11 of their cues are auditory. So because they don't rely on auditory cues as often or as much as humans do, we really have to make the cues that we do use very specific. Also, a good rule of thumb to keep in mind is that you want to wait at least 3 seconds, that's 3 Mississippi seconds, mind you, after you give a verbal cue for your dog to respond, whether it's a corrective cue or a regular command. This is because dogs stay in a moment for about 3 seconds before they move on to the next thing. This way you're giving your dog a really big opportunity to show you, are they figuring it out or are they being defiant? So the most important thing to keep in mind when you're working with any dog or any animal in that case, and you give a corrective cue, you must follow up with praise afterwards. Otherwise, your pet will not understand what you are trying to reinforce and what you want them to repeat. Because ultimately, we praise behaviors because we want them to be repeated. Right, Bonnie Jean? Yes, you're a good girl. All right, y'all. Well, that wraps it up for your Rocky Camp training tip for the week. Feel free to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to our page. If you have a suggestion of a tip you'd love to hear us talk about, feel free to leave a comment below. Rocky Camp, Rocky Camp, Rocky Camp.